threats got worse. This time, we should have believed him. This time, he was being serious. I ran ahead of Jem and Dill so I could check the note. I'd left a note, thanking the person who had left the surprises. What I found?
Cement! Someone filled it with cement!
Anything the matter?
No, nothing the matter. The knot was filled with cement.
I filled it up.
Why'd you do that, sir?
Tree time. Plugging with cement when there's sick. You have to know the mystery.
It don't look sick to me.
Why'd you run ahead? Scared of old Mr. Yule?
I ain't scared one bit.
Why should he stand outside the courtroom talking so mean? This side won.
He hasn't really won yet. We can still do something.
Seems to me the second Mayola Yule opened her mouth, Tom Robinson was a dead man.
Jam!
I am absolutely surprised at you children. Did Atticus give you permission to go to the trial today? And what on earth were you doing sitting in a colored bag? Several people mentioned it. Wasn't it right, Tyler?
Hush, Stephanie.
You really think it wise that these children ought to see such things?
We've made this town this way for them. They might as well learn to cope with it.
At least they don't have to wallow in it.
What happened in court is as much a part of Maycomb as our missionary teams.
Well, excuse me. Don't suppose they understood it anyhow. Sorry I had to see your daddy get beat today.
When I get grown, I think I'll be a clown.
What, Dill?
Yes, sir. You heard me right. There ain't nothing I can do about folks, so I'm gonna join the circus and laugh my head off.
No, Dill, you got it backwards. Clowns are sad. Folks laugh at them.
Well, I'm gonna be a new type of clown. I'm gonna be in the middle of the ring and laugh at their faces. Ha ha ha! Ha ha ha!
Don't pay any attention to what she said.
What do you mean?
I simply would like you to know that there are some men in this world who were born to do our unpleasant jobs for us.
Oh, well.
Don't you well me, sir. You're just not old enough to appreciate what I said.
I always thought Maycomb folks were the best folks in the world.
We're the safest folks in the world. And we're so rarely called on to be Christians. But when we are, we've got men like Atticus to go for us.
Who feels that way besides you?
People in this town who say that fair play isn't marked white only.
But who? Who did one thing to help Tom Robinson?
His friends, for one thing, and people like us. We exist too. People like Judge Taylor, people like Heck Tate. Start using your head, Jem. Did it ever strike you, Judge Taylor naming Atticus to defend Tom was no accident? That Judge Taylor might have had his reasons?
She's right, Jem. Usually they appoint some new lawyer, one who's just getting started.
You're beginning to realize a little more to it than you thought. Whether Maycomb knows it or not, we're paying your father the highest tribute we can pay a man. We trust him to do right.
Then why did he get beat?
Miss Stephanie talks nonsense. Maybe he didn't get an acquittal, but he got something. I was sitting in court waiting, and as I thought to myself, I said, Atticus Finch won't win. He can't win. But he's the only man in these parts who can keep a jury out so long in a case like this. I said to myself, take note of this time and this place. It's 1935, and it's Maycomb, Alabama. But we're making a step. It's just a baby step, but it's a step. I'm going into my kitchen now, and I'm going to make some cakes. And I'd be more than pleased if you'd all come over later and have some of my cakes.
Yes, Miss Maudie.
Thank you.
Mr. Dill?
Oh yes, I'll come. I better go back to Aunt Rachel. They trust me to do better. And when I come back, we can have some cake. See you guys.
Tom Robinson was sent to the Enfield prison, about 70 miles away. Atticus thought Tom had a good chance for a new appeal. Tom just couldn't hope anymore. The Yule's threats got worse. He blamed Judge Taylor, but his main focus of his sick fury was Atticus. The only person in the county who got fired from the WPA for laziness was Yule. And somehow, he twisted that upon Atticus. Said he got his job. It looked to us that it was about to blow up. And then, death was among us. First, it was Mrs. Dubose. Jem had started walking to go read to her when he was stopped by Calpurnia.
She had gone over earlier, and the doctor had told her that she had passed from morphine. She had passed away. And we found out why Jem was reading to her. She had been given morphine for her pain, and she'd become an addict. She wanted to leave the world, behold to nothing and nobody. The reading was help. It was a distraction.
That's why you said I had to read to her?
Her views on a lot of things were different than mine, but I was glad she asked you to read. Because mainly, I want Finch. I wanted you to see what real courage is.
Got some good news, Finch?
Real courage isn't a man with a knife in his hand. It's when you know you're late, 100 years before you begin. But you begin anyways, and rarely you win. And this is the Bozeman. All 98 pounds.
Don't you want to hear what I gotta say, Mr. Finch?
Mr. Finch, Cal, please.
What's wrong?
Atticus!
Children.
I'll tell ya, they shot that nigga.
Tom's dead.
Mr. Finch, they shot Tom.
It's during their exercise period. They said he just broke into a blind raving charge towards the fence and started climbing over right in front of them.
Cal, take Helen inside. You children, go inside.
They put 17 bullet holes in him.
I said for you to go inside. Didn't they try to stop him?
They fired a few shots in the air, and they didn't start shooting at him until he was almost over the fence.
Mr. Finch, how could they shoot Tom?
Helen, to them, he wasn't Tom. He was an escaping convict.
Why didn't he wait for the appeal?
I don't know. I told him we had a chance, but I couldn't say we had more than a chance. I guess he was just fed up with white men's chances.
Ain't it just like a nigga to cut and run?
Come on, Helen, let's go inside.
Do you have anything more you want to say, Mr. Yule?
Yes. I say there's one down. Two to go. Now guess who's gonna be
Mr. Finch, I think I'd keep the shotgun loaded with double lock. He doesn't have a shotgun, eh?
I don't think Bob Yule would ever really come out. But if he should, I will deal with it.
I expect you would.
I said go inside.
Atticus, I'm worried about you.
Let's go inside and be with Helen.
I think you should get a gun.
And remember, she's someone who's heard enough about guns.
Atticus, you better be careful.
I will. Thank you.
Atticus was underestimating what sick anger and frustration would do to an already unbalanced man. The night we found out, there was a pageant at the school auditorium, and Jem said he'd take me. It was to be our longest journey together. It was pitch dark. And right before we left, I asked Calpurnia what was wrong. She said she had a pinprick of apprehension. She said, somebody just walked over my grave. On the way to the school, Jem had a flashlight.
You scared of Haynes?
Paints, pots, incantations, secret signs. I'm too old.
Angel breath, life and death, get off the road, don't suck my breath.
Cut it out!
You're just scared now because we're on our way to the Radley place.
I ain't scared. Besides, we must not be home.
How can you tell?
Well, if you were, then there wouldn't be a tree. There wouldn't be a bird in the tree. Hear that mocker?
Something's wrong with you. It's me and him.
How do you know where we're at?
We're passing by the tree now because we're going through a cold spot.
The trip back was more eventful. Jem seemed startled. We walked a little bit, and he stopped. I thought he was playing with me. It turns out he wasn't. We walked a little more, and he stopped again. Jem pulled me in close. I thought I heard something too.
Jem, are you afraid?
Can't be too far from the tree now.
Reckon we ought to sing?
No, be quiet.
It's just a thunderstorm getting closer.
Not that. Listen.
I
Come on,
hear
Scout.
Jem!
Come on, Scout! Scout, where'd you go?
Jem!
Run, Scout!
Where are you?
Gotcha! Scout, run!
Help!
Some. Ah!
Jem!
Ah! Jem! Scout!
I'm over here.
Cal, telephone Dr. Reynolds.
After 10 forevers, Dr. Reynolds was done working on Jem. He told us Jem was alright. It just looked like someone tried to wring his arm off, and it'd be a while before he could play football again. Meanwhile, Hectate was investigating, and when he came on the porch, there was something odd about him.
Atticus!
What is it? Did you find anything?
Stay outside.
Alright.
Bob Yule's lying on the ground, yonder with a kitchen knife stuck up under his ribs. He's dead, Mr. Finch.
Dead?
Good and dead. He won't hurt those children again. What? That mean as hell, low-down skunk with enough liquor in him to hurt your own children, Mr. Finch.
I thought he'd got it out of him. They spat at him.
Now you know better. He broke Jem's arm, and then he grabbed her. Then what happened?
Well, someone came to help. Someone...
Who was it?
Well, there he is, Mr. Tate. He'll tell you his name. Hey, Boo.
His right name is Arthur Radley. Jean Louise, this is Mr. Arthur Radley. Maybe you'd like to take him in. You can sit by Jem.
Would you like to come in, Mr. Boo?
Well, I guess the thing to do, Jem's a minor, of course, so it'll come before county court.
What will, Mr. Finch?
Of course, it's clear-cut self-defense.
Mr. Finch, do you think Jem killed Bob Yule?
They were struggling in the dark, and Jem probably got a hold of Yule's knife.
Mr. Finch, it wasn't Jem.
That's kind of you. And I know you're doing it from the good of your heart. But I won't have him grow up with a whisper about it. I won't hush up about it.
Hush up what? Jem didn't do it.
And if it wasn't Jem,
I'll tell you, Bob Yule fell on his knife. He killed himself, Mr. Finch.
heck, I will not live one way in town and another way in my home. If I do, I will not have my children anymore.
Mr. Finch, I hate to fight you when you're like this. You've been under a strain no man should ever go through. Maybe that's why you're not putting two and two together.
That if it wasn't Jem...
Of course it wasn't Jem. His arm's broken.
Then it would have to.
Put that thought out of your mind, Mr. Finch. I already told you what happened.
But it was Boo.
Mr. Finch, this isn't your decision. It's my decision, and it's my responsibility. It's all mine.
What are you saying, Hank?
I'm saying there's a black man dead for no reason, and the white man responsible for it is dead. So let the dead bury the dead this time, Mr. Finch.
What about the law?
I never heard tell it's against the law for a citizen to do his utmost to prevent a crime from being committed, which is exactly what Boo Radley did. Now, you may say it's my duty to tell the town all about it and not hush it up. You know what happened then? All the ladies in Macomb County, including my wife, would be knocking on his door, bringing angel food cakes. To my way of thinking, dragging him out with his shy ways into the limelight, well, that's a sin, Mr. Finch. I may not be much, Mr. Finch, but I'm still sheriff of Macomb County. And Bob Yule fell on his knife. Good night, sir.
Scout,
Yes?
Bob Yule fell on his knife. Can you possibly understand?
Sir, it seems to me what Hecate said. Yes, Mr. Boo?
Arthur. Thank you for my children.
I remember. The moon had come out. The storm had passed, and I was being escorted by Boo Radley. He went inside, and I never saw him again. But what I did see when I was standing on that porch was a boy and a girl running, shouting to meet their father coming home. The boy going after Mrs. Dubos's camellias, then being excited about surprises found in the knothole. And then a stormy night, and those children need him. Atticus, I was already starting to stand in other people's shoes. But did you know?
Atticus, what Head Tate said about dragging him to the limelight, he was right.
What do you mean?
Well, be sort of like killing a mockingbird, wouldn't it?
Yes. Yes, it would. Let's go in and sit with Jem.
You did know.
All those thoughts we had about Boo Radley. But Atticus, he's real nice.
Most people are, Scout, when you finally see them.